So the other day you had an assignment, this assignment, and I'm going to go through, there are two for each type of thing, I think, generally, and I'm going to show you one of each, and then maybe one of each, and then describe how to do the rest. I won't do the whole assignment, but if you haven't done this assignment yet, or you need a review of it, I will show you. So the first one is how to construct a copy of an angle. Well, it always starts with first making a line. We're going to draw one line, okay? And I typically will just mimic that line somewhere. So down below this picture, I'm just going to draw a line. I don't know how much space I need, so I generally tend to put it a little bit to the right, but definitely down. You've got lots of space here before the next problem. So I'm going to put it down from this one, and then maybe over a little bit, so like that. And I want to make sure that my line might be a little bit longer. I definitely don't want to go shorter. And the idea is you're going to set your compass to a distance that you know will cross. If I put the point at the vertex, I know when I rotate it, it will hit that line, and when I rotate, it'll hit that other line, because I'm going to make a mark, and I also need to make sure that it's going to hit that line. So here's why that's important. Put your compass point on the vertex, and I'm going to swing a full arc. You really don't need to make the full arc, but I'm going to swing it so you can kind of see the process. So there, and then this is going to be the vertex of my copy right there. So I'm going to put the center of my compass, my point, right there, and I'm going to make an arc at least as big as the one I see up above. And since I don't really know the angle, we're not using our protractors to measure, I'm just going to make an arc that I know is at least as big as that. So I almost went a complete semicircle, which is definitely more than that. Now, you're going to use your compass as the measuring tool. You're going to measure how wide this is open. If this were jaws of an alligator or whatever, you would measure how much that is open by putting your point on one end and adjusting your compass. And it does help if you have a sharp compass lead, but that looks like it's right on track right there. Okay, that's how big it's open. I'm going to transfer this measurement down to this one right here, and I'm going to make a mark, and that intersection right there is where I'm going to draw the line. Now it is hard to see, and there is room for error because we have let me see if I can get this camera to focus a little bit more. The camera may not focus that close. One more try, and then if not, there we go. So you can see that it hits right about there. And so I'm going to put my pencil there, slide my straight edge to it, and rotate my straight edge until I get to that line, and then I'm going to start here and draw up, and that's how you copy an angle. All right, moving on to the next one. It says construct an angle whose measure is twice that of the given angle, of the other angle. So again, I'm going to copy this one, and I will start with a line down below, down and a little bit to the right, and always a little bit bigger. I will set my compass to a distance that I know will cross all the lines, so at least as big as the smallest line involved, which works, and you make an arc. And it's a lot like the first process because we're actually measuring the angle, but we're going to apply the measurement twice. So there, and this is going to be the vertex of the new one. But now when I make this, I'm going to have to guess how big that arc has to be. Well, that's not a fourth of a circle. I mean, I can tell that it's at least that big, and so I'm going to double that and go almost, I could probably do half a circle and be safe. There's no need to do a full circle, but anyway, I know that's safe. I kind of know that it's going to end right around here, and I take my compass and I come over and I measure this, and if you'll notice in this particular example, only this one, it won't happen here, but it looks like it just so happens that the size of the opening is also the size of that. Now that's just a coincidence, but that means that this angle right here must be a 60-degree angle because we have an equilateral triangle. If I were to sketch, and that has nothing to do with making a copy, but if I were to sketch this, you would see that all three sides are the same. That side from there to there is the same. That side is the same as that side. Anyway, that's just an observation that you should notice. So I've measured this. I'm going to put the center of my compass right here, and I'm going to mark it there, and then I'm going to mark it again, moving my point to the top of the first right there. So there's one opening of this, and then here's another opening right there. I've just pasted, or not pasted, but transferred. I will then put my pencil at the vertex. Actually, probably smarter to put it here because it's hard to see. And then I'll rotate the compass, protractor, and there's the duplicate angle. This here is 60 degrees, if my sketch was accurate, and this is 60 degrees, so the whole thing is 120. This we already observed was 60 because it was equilateral. Okay, next one over. Flip the page and go